Welcome to the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, where we bring you a weekly dose of powerlifting news, tips, and training advice with a touch of 80s rock ballads. This podcast is presented by Team Roar Powerlifting, your source of the most comprehensive coaching and meet day preparation. Here are your hosts, Josh Rohr and Lara Sturm.
Welcome to episode 240. How are you, Josh?
So I'm good, but unfortunately we have some bad news. You and I've talked about it. We've decided that we're just going to probably stop the podcast just because it's a lot of work and don't want to keep it up. But
I know, and I hate seeing you every week.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, God. So April Fools.
April Fools. We're too dumb to stop.
I know. We're too dumb to stop. That should be a podcast. We have 200 and something episodes because we're too dumb to stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So anyway, actual news. As of April 1st, which is today, there are 180 spots opening up for Raw Nationals because when they did away with Primetime, they opened up 180 more spots on April 1st is what the Instagram
They
post
did away
said.
with Primetime.
Oh my gosh, you've missed
so
many. You've missed so many things. So yeah, they got rid of Primetime this year, and they also they're changing the drug testing we talked about on one of the episodes that you weren't on either. They're doing 5% instead of 10 now, but they're basically doing full screens versus just like the steroid panel at the local level because a lot of people are taking peptides and things like that now and kind of sneaking through the cracks until they get to nationals. So I'm not in favor of 5%. But and I talked to Paulie directly, and he said that basically we will catch more people at the local level doing 5% full screen than if we did the 10% as we are currently. So if that's the case, then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, how would you know?
Well, because a lot of people are passing at the local level, failing at the national level. So you can see it in the database. Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't confirmed that. That's just what I was told. So we'll see if that's actually legit or not. But that started March 15th. So that is in effect now. But the tests are just about double the cost. Well, every time we have breaking news like this, like you're not here and I talked about this I think the episode with Nick Benarakis, we talked about the drug testing change. And then where they announced the Primetime change, I think Taylor Smith was on that episode. So you just happened to be gone both of those. So yeah, I feel like I just need to fill you in, but
I know, right? But I guess I could listen to the podcast and catch up.
Yeah, in theory, right? You could have.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. So I see that Joe Warpea is running for vice president.
Yep. I got that official confirmation from him yesterday. So I'm excited about that. I think there's a couple things. Like he ran for president, and I'll be honest, like I was kind of shocked that he did not win. I thought he was by far the most qualified, and so he's throwing his hat in for vice president. This coming election, which it's kind of unprecedented territory because like Larry stepped down last year, didn't run again, so like it was kind of a wide open. A lot of people running versus just like in years past, there was nobody running against Larry, or sometimes just like one person. So a lot of the votes got split up, I think, that way. But it's the same thing happening this year. Johnny's not running again for vice president. So, we'll see what happens. But yeah, so I didn't publicly endorse anybody for president, but I think this time around I do want to publicly endorse Joe Warpea for vice president. I think I don't know. I don't have a list of who all's running, so I can't compare Joe with whoever else is running. I'm not aware of who else is running or the whole list. So all I can say on Joe's behalf is, I've worked with him on the EC for quite a few years, and he's been around for a very long time, which some people think is a negative, but I think there's a lot of organizational history that, the people in the high up leadership need to be aware of. And, it's one of those things like you don't want to repeat your same mistakes, but if you don't know your history, then you're bound to. And Joe knows a lot of that history, but also just like from a level-headed perspective, like a lot of times, things come through the EC and, people kind of knee-jerk react to things. And Joe's always one of those that wants to see every side of it. He wants to talk to the people involved before making a decision. And I think that's very, very much needed, especially with, today's social media and everybody like getting instant updates and, a lot of times not correct and things like that. So he's real good about doing his due diligence and making, educated, level-headed decisions. And I think that's very important. So,
Yep.
um, yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm officially on the Joe Warpea for vice president bandwagon. I think he's the right fit for the role. I think he would have been a really good fit for the president as well. But he's in it for the right reasons too. Probably to his own detriment. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's important to hear all the sides and have someone who's level-headed
Yeah,
in a leadership position. Not saying that Polly's not, I mean, but yeah,
right.
it's
Agreed. I
leadership.
think yeah. Yep, leadership.
Leadership.
Let's see. You got to go soon. So let's get through this. So we started a group me for the podcast. It's basically like I don't know how you describe it. It's kind of like WhatsApp. It's kind of like Slack. It's kind of like Discord a little bit. It's basically like a messaging thing, but you don't need to give your personal information. So nobody will get your phone number. Nobody will get your email, and you can message back and forth. But basically, it's public. You can just, if you have a group me account, you can just search for Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast. And we have a couple different channels on there. One where people can discuss each new episode back and forth and just kind of have like a little chat room type deal, but also like offer suggestions and, people can chime in if they have new lifter tips and things like that that we can relay onto the podcast.
Mm.
So kind of a cool
Yeah.
way to hang out with our listeners, plural.
Yes. Listeners, both of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have they already joined?
No.
Uh, well, okay. So go to GroupMe, download the app, and
Yep.
engage with us, ask us questions, and Josh will answer them.
Basically, somebody
Yeah,
will answer them.
we hope.
Somebody
Maybe.
will answer them at some point.
Yes.
Yep.
Nice.
All right. So we had a couple lifters compete at Maryland States, March 21st and 22nd. Elaine Ostrander, she made her 90 kilo debut. She's been competing as a 100 kilo Masters 3 lifter, but she lifted at 90. She hit a 77 and a half squat, 32 and a half bench, 110 kilo deadlift, and a 220 total. She went 9 for 9. And qualified
Nice.
to compete at nationals as a 90 kilo lifter. So that's pretty exciting. Also, Olivia Vilea, aka now married Olivia Erling. She made her 82 and a half kilo debut. She squatted 205 kilos, which is a PR and a state record. She benched 130, which is a PR and a state record. She deadlifted 185 and she totaled 520, which was a state record total and a PR. And she went 9 for 9 for the first time ever also. And
Oh,
she also came
sick.
away also came away as the best female lifter. Best dots 485 between all the equipped lifters and raw lifters. So she had the highest dots of all the
Oh,
women. So that was
nice.
pretty cool. Yep.
That's awesome. Go,
Yep.
Olivia.
Yeah. Also on March 21st was Military Nationals and Amber Riley. She competed. She's been one of our lifters for a little while, but she's not working with us one-on-one right now. She's just using our training app. So we'll plug that, I guess. If you want to join the training app and be as strong as Amber, you can find that in the link in our bio. And you can use discount code PL Ballads Podcast to get 25% off your first month. Anyway, back to Amber. She went 8 for 9. She squatted 105, which was a PR, benched 67.5, deadlifted 152.5, which was a PR, and totaled 325, which was a PR. So that was really good. Other results from that meet, the best lifters overall in the women's division was Whitney Weidenborner. She was in the firefighter division. She had a 471 dots. And then the men's division, Maximus Marchi from the Space Force was the best overall lifter at Military Nationals with the 474 dots. And then the overall team champions were the Phantom Warriors. Whew, that was a breath.
Yeah,
That was a lot, real quick.
that was a lot. I'm just
Yep.
fascinated by the Space Force. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's a real thing now.
it's a real thing now.
That's crazy.
And you know what? So I thought it was ridiculous when I first heard about it,
Mm,
but then I actually did a little bit of research, and I have not done a lot of research, so this may be completely inaccurate. But when I think of Space Force, like I think of like my first thought is like, okay, we're defending ourselves from aliens and all this other stuff. Well,
asteroids.
yeah, asteroids, all those things. But
Yeah.
realistically, what it is, it's more about the cybersecurity of like protecting our satellites and things like that from
Mm,
other countries sabotaging them and things like that.
Right. Legit.
That was the little brief thing that I got, but
Mm.
I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but that actually kind of makes more sense than my initial thought.
Not all about asteroids.
Do you think aliens are real?
Yes.
Okay,
That's all I got.
I'm not going to answer for two reasons. I don't want to publicly say my opinion, but if it happens to match yours, I don't actually want to agree with you on anything. So that would,
Oh, oh,
yeah, no,
oh, that hurt.
I'm just kidding. I think they're real too.
Nice. Right. Have they kidnapped people and impregnated them and returned them home? I don't know about that part. But maybe. Like, who am I to say? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
So join the group me and let us know. Do you think aliens are real?
Nice,
Um,
nice side note. I like that.
yeah. So we had high school nationals also happen this past weekend. We didn't have anybody lifting, but kind of we'll go through the quick results real quick. So, Laura, take it
Awesome.
away.
Sure. Team champions in the women's raw varsity is Boston Latin Powerlifting. Go Boston. I love this. In the men's raw varsity was Lexington High School, which I believe is either Lexington, Kentucky or Lexington, Massachusetts. Who knows? Lexington's everywhere, but Lexington, go Lexington. The mixed raw varsity again was Boston Latin Powerlifting. Nice. Women's equipped varsity, Lehman Powerlifting, and men's equipped varsity was 949 Academy.
I'm assuming that's pronounced 9 for 9 Academy.
949. Oh, 949? 9 for
Yeah.
9. I get
I
it.
mean, it could be 949, but I mean, if 949 was like my area code, like I would call it 9 for 9. That's what I would do.
I mean, clearly not the name of a high school, but
I mean, it could be. I mean, it could be like Georgia is like 770. It could be like 770 Academy, like a private academy or something like that.
true.
And it just happens to fit.
Right. Coincidentally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lexington High School is in New England, by the way.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Lexington, Massachusetts, shot heard around the world. Just saying. Revolutionary War, that whole thing.
Bang.
Yeah,
Like
except it
that.
reverberated, echoed. Yeah,
That's what it sounded
like
like.
that. Yeah. And best lifters, women's raw varsity was Iris Tyberg, sorry, from Oregon, with a 514 dots. And
Let's
men's,
pause on that for a minute, like, and realize how stupid that is. A high school girl lifting raw
I know, with
had
a
a
514
514,
dots.
and the threshold to earn a pro card is 475.
Yeah,
So like she's way beyond it. Like that's just insane. Like
that's awesome.
I don't even know what to say about that. That's just like unreal.
Yeah,
I don't think I want people to actually realize the significance of that. Like that is all-time great
right.
high school lifter.
For
Like
high school.
that's yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They're out in Oregon. I guess they're corn-fed. I don't know. That's pretty impressive. For the men's raw varsity, we have Christopher Pinto from St. John's Prep Powerlifting. I'm familiar with this school because that's from Danvers, Massachusetts, right near where I was born and raised. And he got a 472 dots. Women's equipped varsity was Kaya Miller from Lehman Powerlifting in Texas with a 423 dots. And the men's equipped varsity was Aiden Allen from uh, MO. Wait, that's Missouri?
Yes.
Okay.
I think
419 dots.
MO is Missouri, right?
I think so. Montana's MN.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty sure. 419 dots. But still, let's just take a second. Best lifters out of all those, 514 dots.
Yeah, that's like way off the charts.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
Nice.
Crazy.
All right, we have a powerlifting situation. Are you ready? Dun, dun, dun.
How about I ask you this one?
Ooh, okay.
Curveball. All right.
Okay.
You are an equipped lifter getting ready for your third attempt squat. You're on deck, wrapped, and the lifter in front of you dumps the bar. What do you do?
Turn away, turn my back to it, and most likely just sit there and get in my zone and suck it up. I think unwrapping at that point, uh, I think it would goober me up too much. Third attempt squats, probably wrap pretty tight, probably hurts. Man, that would suck. I bet this has happened. But yeah, I think I would just turn away and breathe and try to just go somewhere else in my head. What would you do, Josh?
So it just depends on the situation, and here's the distinguishing factor for me. So if it depends on the bar load.
Right,
If
right.
it's something that three spotters can pick the bar up and put it back on the rack,
Mm,
then I stay wrapped. If it's a situation where there's six reds on a side,
right,
which
right.
that would only be the case if I was like the first squatter in the third attempt, and that was the lifter's second attempt because I wouldn't be following that
Mm,
otherwise. So if it's something where they got to unload a bunch of weight and they're pulling out the deadlift jack, then I'm probably unwrapping because that's going to
mm,
take a little while. But that's why
mm,
we always have a spare set of wraps ready to go. So even if, I mean, realistically, what we would do is grab a chair, pull the wraps, and immediately sit down and start wrapping again, just so you had
mm,
that second to get your get the blood flow to your legs.
mm,
Now, there are times where if it is a situation where they're unloading the bar, the jury or chief referee will come over and say, "Go ahead and unwrap," and once you're wrapped, we'll call bars loaded and kind of work with you that way, just because
mm,
that's something that's out of your control, and it's not fair to punish the lifter to sit there in wraps for 3 to 4
mm,
more minutes while they're fixing the platform. So in most situations where the bar is being unloaded, the jury or chief referee, somebody's going to say,
mm.
go ahead and unwrap, and when you're ready, when you're wrapped and ready, let us know, and we'll call bars
Right.
loaded.
Yeah. That's a good point. Because yeah, if it's if it's something that a bunch of spotters can just pick up and put back on, it's no big deal. I don't want to see the havoc. As a lifter, I would turn away from it just because I can't, right? And I'd probably be looking at my coach being like, all right, what happens? What do I do? You tell me, because I'm
Yeah.
not trying to think here. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, in most situations, so I do try, in general, I try to keep the lifter back behind the platform, and I'll stand out and watch the lifting. So a lot of times, my hope would be that you didn't even know it happened.
Mm,
Like, like I would just, say something like, "Yeah, it's taking a little while. Just hold on a second." So
mm.
then I can see if they're picking the bar back up or if they're unloading it. So if they're unloading it, then I'll be like, "All right, let's just take the wraps off." And then you'd be like, "What the hell?" And I'm like, "Well, don't worry about it."
What just happened? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you'd probably hear it, and you'd probably hear the whole like crowd go, "Oh."
It depends if you listen
You
to
know,
music, because I mean, before a
it's true.
third
It's
squat, you're
true.
probably jamming to your headphones, so you're
Mm,
probably not hearing anything.
hmm.
Uh, it just depends on the person too. But
Right, right.
like
And
I,
situation.
I would try to keep the lifter unaware of what's actually the chaos that's going on out there,
Mm.
as
Yep,
much as I could.
yep. Good idea. All right, we have a new lifter tip. Knee sleeve rules. You cannot get assistance putting them on. They must be over your knees, cannot extend more than 15 centimeters below the knee or 15 meters above the knee. And they,
Centimeters.
didn't I say centimeters?
You said meters the second time.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, not meters. That would be really far. So yeah, 15 centimeters below the knee or 15 centimeters above the knee. And they cannot touch or overlap your socks or singlet.
Correct. So,
Yeah.
yeah, in terms of assistance putting them on, like you're not allowed to use your socks as a slider. You can't use like baby powder or anything like that to put them on. So,
Mm.
yeah, and
No
this is
bags,
actually
no
no bags,
sleeves.
right?
Yeah.
No humans pulling them up. Yeah, so they do have to be put on by yourself. So, that's something a lot of lifters don't know, especially newer lifters. So just kind of know that rule. Like, so if you are caught like having somebody help you pull them up, like the referees are gonna make you pull them down and then watch you pull them up by yourself. So,
Mhm.
just make sure you're following those rules. And I don't like the rule, to be honest, but it's a rule, so you got to follow it.
Yeah. Why don't you like the rule?
I just I think it's a hard thing to police because like
Mm.
if somebody goes to the bathroom with their coach and their coach helps them put it on in the bathroom and nobody else is in there, nobody sees it, a referee can suspect that, that knee sleeve looks really, really tight. I suspect that they had help putting it on. The referees by rule are allowed to ask them to pull it down and pull it back up to demonstrate they can do it. And I just think that's like being way invasive, I guess. So why, I would like to see that just kind of go away. And in fact, I might put that in a NGB proposal to get rid of that little rule. Here's the other thing. I like it. I like the purpose of it. The idea is to limit the amount of over tight knee sleeves that you can wear, because the idea with knee sleeves is it's minimal support, keep your knees warm was the idea of them. But you know how lifters are. They want to get every advantage they can. So they're wearing them as tight as possible to lift more weight. Like, just go equipped is my answer to that. But, outside of like having some sort of way of measuring how tight they are on your knees, like there's no way to really limit what people do. So this is like the one rule that kind of semi regulates how tight of a sleeve you can wear. But, at the same time, like, is it really worth the potential frustration of somebody being told to pull their knee sleeves down after they just spent 10 minutes pulling them up by themselves to follow the rules, only to have a referee say you need to pull them down and show me you can pull them back up,
Right. So
and I haven't actually seen that happen. I've never seen a referee just blindly say, I think you need to show me that you can pull those up on your own.
Right.
It's usually just being enforced in terms of like, hey, I see your coach pulling them up. You need to pull them down and pull them up yourself, or whatever. But still, it just seems like, I don't know. At this point, I don't know that it's worth having the rule there. But currently, it is the rule, so it does have to be followed and enforced.
So how would you want to see it changed? That you can get assistance?
I would just take that out. So yeah, I would just take you cannot get assistance putting them on out. So if I think it's worded you can't use assistance. So I think that's in terms of bags, people. Like, I'd say just open the floodgate, let people put them on however they want.
Right. I mean, there's all sorts of tricks, and if you know how to do it, and you
but also like some of those tricks are equip lifting tricks, right? So like maybe that opens the door to more people like, oh. Actually, it's easier to put a squat suit on than it is to put these knee sleeves on with these bags. Maybe I'll just try a suit and lift equipped.
Right.
It's all about trying to get more people to do equipped. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's all I've got this week, Joshua.
All right. That's all I got too.
Awesome. All right. Well, I will talk to you next week for real.
Sounds good.
All right.
Later.
See ya.
And just a friendly reminder, if you are looking for science-based powerlifting programming, look no further than the Team Roar training app. You can find the link to it in the episode description, and also get 25% off of your first month using discount code, all capital, PL Ballads Podcast. Happy training.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode of the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, please remember to subscribe and share it with your friends.